Don't move him. We're losing pulse. The emergency room was chaos. Bright lights, fast footsteps, beeping monitors screaming in the background. But for Dr. Hannah Reed, everything felt strangely quiet, like the world had narrowed down to just one thing. A 28-year-old man lying on the operating table, blood pressure dropping fast, internal bleeding, no clear cause, and time running out. "Hannah, we need a decision now," the nurse shouted. She pressed her hands harder. "We're not losing him," she said firmly. But even as she said it, she knew the truth. They might. 2 hours later, the monitors slowed, then flattened. A long, sharp tone filled the room. Beep. Silence followed. "Hannah? Time of death, 2:14 a.m. She stepped back slowly. Her gloves were covered in blood. Not just his, but the effort of everyone who tried to save him. The family outside the room started screaming. A mother's voice broke through the walls. That sound stayed in her chest. Even after she removed her mask. Even after she washed her hands. Because some sounds don't leave. They settle inside you. Hannah Reed wasn't new to loss. She was a trauma surgeon in Chicago General Hospital. 5 years of emergency shifts, thousands of cases, hundreds of deaths. And yet, each one still left something behind. A memory, a face, a question. Could I have done more? Her colleagues said she was strong, but strength in her case was just practiced silence. That night, after the operation, she sat alone in the staff room, staring at nothing, her hands still shaking slightly. Then her phone buzzed. One message from her husband. "We need to talk. Tonight. It's important." She stared at it for a long time, then whispered, "Of course it is." Because messages like that never meant something good. Hannah met Adrian Cole in the most ordinary place possible, a hospital cafeteria. She was exhausted after a 20-hour shift. He was sitting alone, drinking coffee, reading patient files. She dropped her tray. He helped her pick it up. That was it. No dramatic music, no instant love confession, just a simple moment. But something about him stayed with her. Calm eyes, soft voice, a strange sense of control in a chaotic place. They started talking, then meeting after shifts, then dinners. Then life together slowly formed around them like something natural. Not rushed, not forced, just steady. And after years of emotional exhaustion in her profession, steady felt like peace. It happened in their small apartment. Nothing fancy, no ring hidden in dessert, no crowd. Just Adrian standing near the kitchen window one evening, watching the city lights. "Hannah," he said quietly. She looked up from her files. "Yeah?" He turned. "I don't want chaos anymore." She smiled slightly. "Neither do I." A pause. Then he added, "I want something real. With you." And he took out a small box. She froze. Because in that moment, everything felt safe. Too safe. But she said yes, without hesitation. Marriage didn't change him immediately. At first, everything was normal. Coffee in the morning, quiet dinners, shared routines. But slowly, small details shifted. He started locking his phone, answering calls outside, sometimes disappearing for hours without explanation. When she asked, he always smiled. Work. But something about the way he said it didn't match his eyes. One night, she woke up at 3 a.m. The bed was empty. The front door was slightly open, and Adrian was gone. On the table, a note. Only one sentence. If I don't try to find me. He returned at sunrise. Like nothing had happened. Same clothes, same calm face. I went for a walk, he said. At 3 a.m. For 4 hours. Across a city that never sleeps safely. Hannah didn't believe him. But she didn't confront him either. Because sometimes you don't ask questions when you're afraid of answers. A week later, she found the wallet. It slipped out of his jacket while doing laundry. Inside, a second ID. Different name, different birth date. Same photo. Her hands went cold immediately. That night, she waited for him, silent. When he came home, she placed it on the table. He looked at it, then at her, and didn't deny it. That was the worst part. No denial, just acceptance. You found it, he said. Yes, she replied. So explain. He sat down slowly and said, I wasn't supposed to stay here this long. What does that mean? She asked. Adrian rubbed his face, then said, I had a different life before you. Everyone does. No, he said quietly. Not like this. He paused, then continued. I worked for a private security division. High-level operations. People you never hear about. Hannah listened carefully. And something went wrong. Silence. A mission failed. Someone died, and I was blamed. Her voice lowered. So you ran. I disappeared. Same thing. He looked at her then. For them, I'm already dead. That sentence changed the air in the room. 3 days later, someone tried to break into their apartment. It was 2:47 a.m. Glass shattered. Footsteps in the hallway. Adrian moved instantly. Too fast. Too trained. Like a switch had flipped inside him. Within seconds, silence returned. But not peace. Danger doesn't leave when it's interrupted. It waits. Outside the broken window, a voice called out, She's not part of this! Adrian froze. Hannah looked at him. Who are they? He didn't answer, because he already knew. This wasn't ending. It was escalating. If you're enjoying this story so far, make sure to like the video and subscribe. It really helps support the channel and lets us create more content like this. That night, Adrian packed a bag. We have to leave. Hannah stepped back. No. He looked at her sharply. They found me. That's your problem, not mine. A pause. Then his voice lowered. It is now. She stopped. Because something in his tone changed. Not fear, responsibility. And that scared her more than anything else. Her phone rang. Unknown number. A man's voice. "We know where you are." She went silent. Adrian grabbed the phone from her hand and turned it off. "We leave now," he said again. This time, she didn't argue. They left the city before sunrise. No luggage, no identity, just two people who barely understood each other anymore, driving into uncertainty. Behind them, a life that no longer felt real. Ahead, something they couldn't yet name. But one thing was already clear. Adrian was not the man she married, and the truth he was hiding was still coming for them. The highway stretched endlessly in front of them. Empty roads, faint streetlights, a silence that felt unnatural, like the world was holding its breath. Hannah sat in the passenger seat, staring out the window. She didn't speak, not because she was calm, but because her mind was overloaded with too many questions at once. Adrian drove without turning on the radio, both hands tight on the wheel. Focused, alert, like he expected something to happen at any second. Finally, she broke the silence. "Who are they?" Adrian didn't answer immediately. That alone was already an answer. "They're not police," he said quietly. "Then who?" He hesitated. "Then, people who don't exist officially." Hannah let out a short laugh. "That doesn't explain anything." "It's the only way I can explain it." A pause. Then he added, "I worked for a classified division, black operations, contracted protection, intelligence recovery, sometimes elimination." Her stomach tightened. "Elimination?" He didn't look at her. "Yes." Silence filled the car, only the sound of tires on asphalt. Hannah slowly turned toward him. "So, you're telling me I married someone who used to kill people for a living?" Adrian's jaw tightened. "I didn't have a choice. Everyone has a choice." He finally looked at her. "No, not always." They stopped at a small roadside motel, the kind of place people don't remember. Cheap lights, old carpet, rooms that smelled like time had stopped moving years ago. Hannah sat on the bed while Adrian checked the hallway, locking doors, covering windows, every movement precise, military, instinctive. When he came back, she asked again, "Why me?" He paused, then sat down slowly. "I didn't choose to meet you." That confused her. What does that mean? He hesitated for a long time before answering. "You were part of a file." Silence. "A file?" He nodded. "A case I was assigned to years ago, before I disappeared." Hannah's breath slowed. "What kind of case?" Adrian looked at her directly now. "Witness protection." He continued, "Your father wasn't who you thought he was." Hannah frowned. "My father was a teacher." Adrian shook his head. "He worked as a financial auditor for a defense contractor. He discovered illegal transfers, weapons funding, international money laundering." Hannah felt her chest tighten. "He tried to report it. And they erased him." Silence. Hannah's voice dropped. does that have to do with me? Adrian hesitated again, then said, "You were the only witness who saw the transfer logs before they disappeared." Her entire body went cold. "I was a child." "Yes." "That's insane." "I know." She stood up immediately. "This is not real." Adrian didn't stop her. He just said one sentence. "They don't think you remember." That stopped her. Hannah sat back down slowly. Her hands were shaking now. "I don't remember anything like that." "That's because they made sure of it." "How?" Adrian looked away for a moment. "Medical suppression, trauma intervention, memory blocking techniques." She shook her head. "No, that's not possible." "It is, when enough money is involved." Silence again. Then he added, "And I was assigned to monitor you." Hannah looked up sharply. "Monitor me?" "Yes." "For how long?" "Until the case was closed permanently." A pause. And then Adrian's voice dropped. "I was supposed to eliminate you if you became a risk." Hannah stood up immediately. "You're lying." "No." "You're lying!" Adrian didn't move, didn't raise his voice, didn't defend himself. He just said, "If I wanted you dead, you wouldn't be here." Silence. That landed harder than any argument. Hannah stepped back slowly. "So why am I alive?" Adrian looked at her for a long time, then said something that didn't match anything she expected. "Because I stopped following orders." Before we continue, if this story is keeping you hooked, subscribe and like the video. The final part is where everything changes. That night, they didn't sleep. Adrian stayed near the door. Hannah stayed near the window. Neither trusted silence anymore. At 2:13 a.m., headlights appeared outside the motel. 2 vehicles. No lights turned on, just stopping, waiting. Adrian immediately stood up. "We leave now." Hannah grabbed her bag. "Who are they?" He didn't answer, but his face said everything. "They found us." They ran through the back exit. Cold air, gravel underfoot. Heartbeats louder than footsteps. A shot fired somewhere behind them. Then another. Hannah screamed slightly as Adrian pulled her behind a concrete wall. "Stay down," he whispered. "This is insane." "I know." "You said you stopped following orders." "I did." "Then why are they still after us?" Adrian looked at her, and for the first time, he looked afraid. "Because I wasn't the only one who stopped." They reached a safe house at dawn. Old cabin, hidden in forest outskirts. No signal, no roads nearby, only silence. Adrian checked every corner before letting her inside. Hannah sat down immediately. "Tell me everything." He nodded slowly and said, "There were 5 of us in my unit. 1 disappeared, 1 died, 1 turned, and 1 of them didn't stay loyal." Hannah's voice dropped. "Which one are you?" Adrian looked at her. "I was the one they blamed." A pause. "But I wasn't the only one involved." Silence. Then he added, "The one who framed me is still inside the system." Hannah's blood ran cold. and he knows where we are. Adrian pulled out a small, encrypted device. This is why they're after you. He turned it on. A file opened. Hannah's name appeared. Then images. Then recordings. Her childhood. Her school. Her life. Everything tracked. Everything documented. Then one final line. Asset. Primary witness. Status. Recovery or termination pending. Hannah stepped back. I'm not an asset. Adrian nodded. I know. Then why does it say that? He hesitated, then said the final truth. Because your father never stopped fighting them, and they never stopped looking for what he hid inside your memory. Adrian stood up. We have two options. Hannah looked at him. Run or end this? Silence. What does end this mean? He looked directly at her. It means we expose everything. But if we do, they will come fully. Hannah swallowed. And if we run, they will find us eventually. A long pause. Then she asked, Do you regret meeting me? That question surprised him. He answered honestly. No. Why? Because he said the sentence that changed everything. Because for the first time, I stopped being what they trained me to be. Hannah took a deep breath, then nodded. Then we end it. Adrian stared at her. You sure? She looked at him. For the first time. Not afraid. Yes. They didn't know what would happen next, but they knew one thing. The truth was no longer hidden. And once truth is exposed, it doesn't stop. It spreads. The news reported a major federal investigation, corruption exposed, a classified program dismantled, multiple arrests, files leaked, names revealed. Among them, Adrian Cole, status missing. Hannah Reed, status protected witness. But in a small town far away, a woman sat in a cafe reading a newspaper. And across the street, a man looked at her from a distance. No longer running, just watching and waiting. If this story moved you, don't forget to like and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, do you believe people can truly change, or does the past always catch up with them?